The rain hammered against the window like it was trying to break in, and I stood there frozen, watching the eviction notice flutter to the floor from my roommate's trembling hand. "Elias, I swear, it's not what you think," Brody choked out, his voice cracking like the thunder outside. But I knew better. Knew the lies idols like him spun to keep their secrets buried. In that split second, as his phone buzzed with another anonymous text that lit up his face with guilt, I felt the old scar rip open. The one from loving a star who left me shattered, whispering promises under stadium lights only to vanish into the night. I grabbed my keys, the metal biting into my palm, and stormed out into the storm, the city lights of Seattle blurring into a watercolor of regret. Little did I know, as I slammed the door on one ghost, another was unlocking the apartment across the hall. Jax Harlan, the untouchable king of pop rock, hauling a duffel bag and a fake name, his world-weary eyes meeting mine through the downpour like fate had a cruel sense of humor. The ferry horn wailed in the distance as I trudged back up the stairs to our creaky third-floor walk-up in Capitol Hill, the kind of place where artists scraped by and baristas dreamed of something bigger. Seattle's drizzle had turned into a full assault, soaking my jeans to the bone, but it was nothing compared to the chill settling in my chest. Brody's words echoed like a bad remix. "It's just a phase, Elias. Fans get intense. Intense." That's what he called the tabloid frenzy that swallowed him whole after one leaked photo of us tangled in his tour bus sheets. One night of vulnerability, and poof, I was collateral damage, erased from his narrative faster than a dropped verse. I fumbled with the key, the door sticking as always, and pushed inside. The apartment smelled like stale coffee and regret, posters of indie bands peeling from the walls, my sketchbooks scattered across the thrift store couch like forgotten confessions. Brody was gone, his side of the closet a void, a single sock left behind like a mocking white flag. We'd met 2 years ago at a dive bar in Fremont, him nursing a whiskey after a soundcheck flop, me doodling strangers' faces to forget my own dead-end graphic design gigs. He was rising then, an indie crooner with a voice like smoked velvet, and I fell hard, too hard, for the boy behind the mic, until the label suits swooped in, rebranding him as Brody Blaze, the heartthrob du jour, and I became the inconvenient truth. Rent was due in 3 days, and without his half, I'd be out on the street, sketching bus benches for pennies. I collapsed onto the bed, the springs groaning under me, and stared at the water-stained ceiling. 28 years old, and what did I have? A portfolio full of unappreciated album covers, a heart patched with duct tape, and a vow I'd etched into my soul after Brody's last ghosted text. Never again. No more spotlights, no more stolen moments in green rooms, no more loving men who lived for the applause. I was done chasing shadows. A thud from the hallway yanked me upright. Muffled curses followed, low and gravelly, like someone wrestling a grizzly. I cracked the door, peering out into the dim corridor lit by a flickering bulb. There he was, a guy in a drenched hoodie, wrestling a battered suitcase that had burst open, spilling clothes like confetti from a failed party. He looked mid-30s, broad-shouldered but lean, like he'd run marathons in his sleep. Dark hair plastered to his forehead, jaw set in frustration, but even soaked, there was something magnetic about him. The way his hands moved with quiet precision, folding a shirt with care amid the chaos. He glanced up, catching me staring, and for a heartbeat, our eyes locked. His were storm gray, edged with a weariness that hit me like a rogue wave. "Evening," he muttered, voice rough around the edges. American through and through. Maybe Midwest with that subtle drawl. "New tenant. Name's Jack." He extended a hand, rain dripping from his cuff, but I just nodded, mumbling something about the super being a ghost. As he hauled his mess inside, I caught a whiff of expensive cologne cutting through the mildew. Sandalwood and sea salt, the kind that lingered. I shut my door, leaning against it, heart thudding inexplicably. Get a grip, Elias. Strangers aren't your story anymore. The next morning, sunlight pierced the clouds like a reluctant apology, and I brewed coffee strong enough to wake the dead. My freelance deadline loomed, a logo for some startup in Belltown, but my mind wandered to the new guy. Jack sounded like a cover, too plain for the intensity in those eyes. I shook it off, firing up my laptop, fingers flying over keys to mock up vectors of soaring eagles and circuit boards. By noon, hunger gnawed, so I headed to the corner market, the one with the crooked sign reading Puget Provisions. The bell jingled as I stepped in, grabbing a bagel and scanning the headlines. Harlan's heartbreak. Jax dumps model fiancé amid tour chaos. I snorted, tossing the paper aside. Jax Harlan, the golden boy of American rock, voice like thunder wrapped in silk, face plastered on every billboard from LA to New York. Sold-out arenas, Grammy nods, and a trail of broken hearts longer than his set list. I'd sworn off his type after Brody, but damn if his latest single didn't worm into my playlist sometimes. That raw ache in the chorus hitting too close. Back home, the hallway hummed with activity. Jack's door was ajar, and I glimpsed him inside, shirtless, tattooed back rippling as he taped boxes. Intricate lines snaked across his skin. A compass rose on his shoulder, lyrics in faded script along his ribs. Poetry or song. I averted my eyes, but not before heat crept up my neck. That evening, the building's ancient pipes decided to revolt, flooding my bathroom in a rusty cascade. Swearing under my breath, I grabbed a plunger and wrench, attacking the drain like it owed me money. Nolak. Desperate, I knocked on Jack's door, tool in hand, feeling like the world's saddest handyman. He answered in sweats, hair tousled, a beer in hand. Plumbing apocalypse? His grin was lopsided, disarming. Something like that. I thrust the wrench forward. Super's AWOL. Any chance you're handy? He stepped aside. Follow me. I've got tools that don't involve cursing the gods. His place was a mirror of mine but warmer. String lights draped over exposed brick. A guitar propped in the corner like an old friend. He knelt by the sink I jury-rigged in his unit for demo, sleeves rolled up, veins standing out on his forearms. Watching him work was mesmerizing. Focused, unhurried, a faint hum escaping his lips. Wait, was that the melody from Harlan's Echoes in the Rain? My throat tightened. No, coincidence. You play. I nodded at the guitar. Here and there, he tightened a bolt, water gurgling clear. Keeps the ghosts at bay. We ended up on his couch after. Beers cracked open. The city lights twinkling beyond the window like distant applause. He asked about my sketches, flipping through my book with genuine interest, fingers brushing mine on a page of shadowed faces. These are raw, man, like you're pulling souls out. I flushed, mumbling thanks, but inside, something stirred. A flicker I thought I'd extinguished. He leaned back, shadows playing over his jaw. What about you, Elias? What's your ghost? The question hung, heavy as the rain starting up again. I took a swig, the bitterness grounding me. Loved a guy who chased the stage. Left me in the dark. Simple truth stripped bare. His eyes softened, a depth there that pulled at me. Stages are illusions. Real life's messier. He clinked his bottle to mine. To Messi. That night, as I lay awake listening to the patter on the roof, I replayed his words, the brush of his hand. Jack, just a neighbor. But in the quiet, vows felt fragile, and Seattle's fog whispered of possibilities I'd buried deep. Days blurred into a rhythm. Mornings sketching by the window, afternoons dodging client calls, evenings crossing paths with Jack in the hall. He'd leave a fresh bagel on my mat after late shifts. Turns out he bartended at a speakeasy in Pioneer Square, slinging drinks to hipsters and has-beens. I'd repay with doodles on napkins, caricatures of him mid-pour, exaggerated grin and all. One Friday, thunder rolled in like an uninvited guest, and power flickered out across the building. Candles guttered in my kitchen as I cursed the outage, laptop dying mid-render. A knock, Jack, holding a six-pack and a deck of cards. Storms got bite. Poker. Loser spills a secret. I hesitated, that old wariness prickling, but the rain's roar drowned it out. "You're on." We played by flashlight on the floor, knees brushing, laughter cutting the tension. He folded on a bluff, groaning theatrically. "Fine. Secret. I used to write songs for a living. Gave it up when the circus got too loud." My pulse skipped. "Why?" "Love's not made for spotlights." His gaze held mine steady. "Yours." I lost the next hand on purpose. I designed for bands, but after one chewed me up, swore off the scene. He nodded, no pity, just understanding. "Smatman." As the storm raged, cards forgotten, we talked. About Maine's salty winds where I'd grown up, fishing with my dad before he faded into his own regrets. About his vague road life that left scars like the one on his knuckle from a shattered mic stand. His voice wove stories like threads, pulling me closer without trying. By midnight, the power hummed back, but neither moved. He stood, stretching, shirt riding up to reveal a sliver of toned abs dusted with dark hair. "Night, Elias." His hand lingered on my shoulder, warm through the fabric, sending a jolt straight south. Alone, I pressed my palm to the spot, breath shallow. It was nothing, everything, and in the mirror, my reflection looked haunted, eyes bright with a hunger I denied too long. The following week, rent check bounced in my mailbox like a bad joke. Panic clawed, eviction loomed, and freelance dried up faster than Seattle summers. I pounded on the super's door, only to find Jack there, haggling over his own deposit. He caught my eye, brow furrowing. "Trouble." Understatement. I slumped against the wall, spilling the mess, Brody's bolt, the void. He rubbed his jaw. "Crash with me till it sorts. Couch is yours." I balked. "Can't impose." "Impose away. Building's got heart. Let's use it." That night, I dragged my pillow across, the hallway feeling like a threshold. His place enveloped me. Vinyl records stacked like towers, a half-eaten pizza box on the counter. We crashed on the couch, a movie flickering. Some noir thriller with brooding leads. His arms slung casual over the back, fingers inches from my neck. Halfway through, he paused the screen. "Elias, you ever feel like life's scripting you wrong?" "All the time." My voice was whisper. He turned, face close, breath mingling. "Then rewrite it." The kiss was inevitable, slow as the tide. His lips firm yet tentative, tasting of hops and hesitation. I melted into it, hands fisting his shirt, the world narrowing to the heat of him. But as his tongue traced mine, a flash, Brody's smile in the spotlight, froze me. I pulled back, gasping. "Wait, I can't. Not again." His eyes searched, hurt flickering. "I'm not him. I know." But the fear lingered, a ghost in the room. We didn't speak of it, but the air thickened, charged. Days later, at his bar shift, I showed up for a drink, nerves jangling. The place thrummed, jazz undertones, clink of glasses. He slid a whiskey my way, grinned sly. "On the house. For the guy who sketches like he sees souls." I sipped, warmth spreading. "Flattery gets you tips. Nah, truth gets you this." He leaned over the bar, voice low. "Dinner tomorrow? No strings. Just pasta and stories." Heart hammering, I nodded. "Yes." The date was simple. His kitchen, garlic simmering, rain tapping duet. We ate cross-legged on the floor, knees touching, laughter flowing easy. He shared a tale of busking in Austin, voice cracking on a high note that made a crowd weep. I confessed my Maine winters, ice skating on frozen ponds, dreaming of cities that didn't freeze your dreams. After, dishes forgotten, he pulled me close on the couch, kisses deeper now, hands exploring with reverence. Tracing my collarbone, dipping under my shirt to map the freckles across my chest. "You're beautiful," he murmured against my skin, voice husky. "Like a storm I want to chase." I arched into him, barriers crumbling, his body solid and real under my palms. Broad chest heaving, hips grinding slow. We moved to his bed, sheets tangling, gasps echoing in the dark. He was gentle, insistent, whispering my name like a prayer, bodies sinking in a rhythm that felt like home. Release came shattering, his forehead to mine, breaths ragged. In the afterglow, curled against him, his fingers carded through my hair. "Stay," he said softly. I did. For the first time in years, sleep came dreamless, safe. But mornings bring light, and light reveals cracks. A week in, his phone buzzed incessantly. Unknown numbers, voicemails he deleted without listening. "Work stuff," he'd mutter, pocketing it. I nodded, but doubt seeded, faint as fog. Then, one gray afternoon, I answered my own door to a delivery. Flowers, extravagant lilies, card and signed. "No, from Jack's place," misplaced. I peeked inside. "Miss you, Jay. Come back to the chaos." Who? Stomach twisting, I set them down, but the thorn pricked deeper. That night, as he cooked, humming that damn Harlan tune again, I watched him, love budding fierce despite the warning bells. "Jack, those flowers." He froze, spoon mid-stir. Old news. Looked fresh. His shoulders tensed. "Trust me, Elias. Please." I wanted to. God, I did. But vows echo, and ghosts don't fade easy. The lilies wilted on his windowsill like accusations unspoken, petals curling brown as the days stretched. I threw myself into work, churning out designs for a coffee roaster in Ballard. Steaming mugs morphing into Puget Sound waves. Anything to drown the hum of uncertainty. Jack noticed, of course. His touches lingered longer, apologies woven into every brush of lips. "I'm here," he'd say, pulling me into his lap on lazy Sundays. Seattle's market bustle faint below. All in. And for stretches, I believed him. We'd wander Pike Place under umbrellas, dodging fishmongers and street fiddlers, his hand warm in mine. He'd steal a kiss amid the lavender stalls, laughing when I blushed, the city folding around us like a secret. Nights blurred into explorations, his mouth mapping my thighs, my fingers digging into his back as he moved inside me, slow and shattering. Our moans a duet against the rain-lashed panes. He was addiction, pure. The way he'd wake me with coffee and sketches of us, exaggerated and tender, or murmur lyrics half-formed against my neck. But the phone calls persisted, shadows at the edges. I'd catch him in the bathroom, door ajar, voice low and edged. "Not now, Marcus. I need space." Marcus. The M. My gut twisted, memories of Brody's manager. Slick suits, NDAs like shackles. Flooding back. I pushed it down, focusing on the man before me. Jack, who burned toast but kissed like redemption. One crisp October evening, fog rolling thick off the sound, he suggested a drive. Escape the concrete jungle. Get some air. We piled into his beat-up Jeep, windows fogged, radio crooning Harlan's faded lights, irony thick as the mist. He drove south toward Olympia, hands sure on the wheel, playlist shifting to obscure folk tracks that tugged at my chest. "Wrote this one after a bad breakup," he said of a haunting acoustic piece. "Thought I'd lost my voice forever." I traced the veins on his forearm. "Sounds like you found it." His smile was soft, vulnerable. "You make me want to try again." We parked at a secluded beach, waves crashing like applause denied. Blankets spread, wine uncorked from a thermos. We lay tangled, stars pricking the velvet sky. His head on my chest, fingers idly circling my navel. "Tell me about before," he whispered. "The one who broke you." I hesitated, sand cool under us. "Brody, musician, promised forever between gigs." Then the fame hit. I was expendable. The words tasted bitter, but saying them to him felt like lancing a wound. He lifted his head, eyes fierce. "You're not expendable. You're the goddamn horizon." We made love there, urgent and open, salt on our skin, his body arching under mine as I claimed him. Slow thrusts building to frenzy, his gasps my symphony. Afterward, wrapped in the blanket, he confessed fragments. A life on the road, crowds blurring into one roar, lovers like shooting stars, bright, brief. Tired of burning out, he admitted. Want steady flame. My heart swelled, vows fracturing further. Steady. With him, it felt possible. Back in the city, reality intruded. My portfolio landed a gig. Album art for an up-and-coming band in Austin, but it meant a week away, scouting inspirations. Jack drove me to the airport, kiss lingering at departures, his whisper hot, hurry back, this place echoes without you. Texas heat hit like a slap after Seattle's embrace, but the work fueled me. Dusty roads, neon signs flickering like forgotten dreams. I texted him constantly, photos of longhorns at dusk, voice notes humming melodies inspired by our beach night. His replies came sporadic at first, then fervent. Miss your laugh. Bed's too big. A shirtless selfie mid-shift, sweat glistened, made my hotel room spin. On night 3, a call buzzed me awake. Unknown number. Groggy, I answered. Elias Thorne? Yeah. A pause, then a woman's voice, clipped and efficient. This is Lena from Harlan Entertainment. We understand you're involved with Jack's Harlan. A word. My blood iced. Jack's, not Jack. The pieces slammed. The hums, the tattoos matching tabloid leaks, the weariness in his eyes from arena exhaustion. What the hell? He's in hiding. Incognito. For his sanity. Please, don't. I hung up, phone clattering, betrayal roaring louder than any storm. Him, the superstar, moving into my life like a scripted twist, rewriting my scars with his lies. I didn't call, didn't text, boarded the early flight, numb as the ascent. Seattle greeted gray and unrelenting, cab dropping me at the building like a bad sequel. Keys shook in my hand. His door was cracked, light spilling. He was pacing, phone to ear, voice rising. Marcus, I said no. The tour's poison. I pushed in, dropping my bag. Jack's Harlan. Nice alias. He whirled, face draining. Elias. Don't. The word cracked. How long were you gonna play house? Till the headlines called. Elias, listen. He stepped forward, hands out, but I backed away, chest heaving. The flowers. Marcus. Space. You lied. About everything. Not everything. His voice broke, raw. The feelings? Real. I came here to breathe, away from the machine. Met you and it changed. I laughed, hollow. Like Brody. Spotlights win. He flinched, eyes glistening. I'm not running the circuit anymore. Quit last month. This us is my rewrite. Doubt warred with the ache. His face, so open now, mirrored my own fractures. But trust? Shattered glass. I need air. I fled to our apartment, door slamming, sliding down it as sobs tore free. The man I'd fallen for. Idol incarnate. Vow intact. Heart in ruins. Hours later, a soft knock. I ignored it. Then his voice muffled. I love you, Elias. Scared shitless, but true. Doors open when you're ready. Sleep evaded. Memories replaying. His laugh in the rain. Body yielding under mine. Love? Or another illusion? Dawn crept. Coffee bitter on my tongue. I sketched him Jack's, unmasked. Eyes stormy. Lips curved in that secret smile. Destroyed it. Redrew. The pull was visceral. A tide I couldn't outrun. By noon, resolve cracked. I knocked on his door. He answered hollow-eyed, stubble shadowing his jaw. Hey! Talk. Truth. We sat on the floor, knees touching, walls stripped. He spilled. The rise, the isolation. Fans adoring the myth. Lovers fleeing the glare. Marcus, manager and ex-lover, clinging to the empire. The hideout in Seattle. Anonymous lease, Jack as shield. Saw you that first night, soaked and fierce. Knew I was done hiding from you. Tears pricked. I swore off your world. It destroys. Then let's build ours. Nostalgies. Just us. The kiss was apology, fierce and forgiving. Hands frantic as we stripped, bodies colliding on the rug, him above, thrusting deep, my nails raking his back as cries mingled. Climax shattered us, reaffirming. But peace? Fleeting. That night, pounding at the door. Suits, flashing cameras outside. Marcus, betrayal's architect, leaking the address. Time's up, Harlan. Tour starts tomorrow. Jax's face hardened. I'm done. They left, but the damage lingered. Paparazzi swarming the stoop. My name whispered in feeds. Sanctuary breached. We hunkered, blinds drawn, but the siege wore. Calls from my agent. Leverage this. Idol romances. I deleted them, curling into Jax, his heartbeat my anchor. Yet doubt festered. Was this love or just another act? The paparazzi vultures circled for days, lenses glinting like accusations through the blinds. Their murmurs a constant buzz. Harlan's hideout love nest? Who's the mystery guy? I peeked once, heart slamming at the cluster. Vans idling, fans clutching signs. Jax, we love you. Love. What a loaded word. Twisted into spectacle. Jax paced like a caged wolf, phone silenced, but the notifications piled. Tour demands, sponsor ultimatums, Marcus's voicemails laced with venom. You're throwing it away for some nobody? Wake up. I brewed tea, hands steadying on the mug's warmth, and pulled him to the table. Tell me how to help. His laugh was brittle. Hide? Run? Already tried. He sank into the chair, head in hands. This life, it's a beast. Feeds on pieces of you till nothing's left. Then starve it. Simple words, but they landed. His gray eyes lifting, softening. We spent the afternoon plotting. Back exit to the alley, hoodies and routes to the ferry terminal. Escape to the islands, Whidbey, maybe, where the world blurred into evergreens and salt air. Under dusk's cover, we slipped out, his hand firm in mine, pulse racing tandem. The ferry cut through choppy waters, Seattle shrinking to a sparkle on the horizon. On deck, wind whipping, he wrapped arms around me from behind, chin on my shoulder. Thank you for seeing me. I turned, kissing salt from his lips. Always. The cabin we rented was rustic. Creaking porch overlooking the sound. Fireplace crackling against November chill. No signal, no scripts. Just us. Mornings tangled in flannel sheets. His mouth trailing fire down my chest. Teasing until I begged. Then taking me slow, eyes locked, breaths sinking in ecstasy. Afternoons hiking misty trails, his stories unfolding. Childhood in rural Colorado, guitar from a pawn shop, first gig in a smoky Denver bar where dreams ignited. One evening, firelight dancing on his skin, he strummed softly, a new melody, raw and aching. For you, he murmured, voice weaving vulnerability. Lyrics spilled. Horizons chased, anchors found. Love as the quiet after the roar. Tears stung. It was us, distilled. I set my sketchpad aside. His portrait half-formed, capturing that unguarded gaze, and straddled him, hands framing his face. Play it louder. Let the world hear. He did, fingers flying, then pulling me down, our rhythm matching the strings. Urgent, deep, release crashing like waves below. Bliss, though, breeds fragility. On day 4, a weak bar crept in, texts pinging. Marcus, fans rioting. Album tanks without you. Come back or he pays. He, me, attached. A photo, grainy but damning. Us at the market, hands linked, time-stamped. Jax's face thunderous. Bastard, using you as leverage. Fear coiled. What does he want? You, gone. Or the full Harlan machine. Control, image. He crushed the phone under heel, shards glinting. Fuck that. but the seed rooted. That night, as he slept, I stared at the ceiling, Brody's ghost merging with Marcus's shadow. Was I tethering him or just another chain? Morning brought decision. We fight, Jax said over eggs, resolve steel. Lawyers, injunctions, my terms or nothing. I nodded, but unease gnawed. Back in Seattle, the swarm had thinned, but headlines screamed, Harlan's secret lover. Artist or gold digger? My inbox flooded. Offers from rags, hate from trolls. Predator, fame whore, each barb a slice, reopening scars. Jax shielded, raging at his team, but I saw the toll. Shadows under his eyes, songs unfinished. One night, after a call with suits devolving to shouts, he slammed the door, storming to the balcony. Rain lashed. I followed, wrapping a blanket around him. Can't lose you to this, he growled, voice thick. You're not. I cupped his jaw, thumb tracing stubble. But hiding? It's killing us both. He pulled me close, kiss desperate, hands roaming urgent, stripping wet clothes, pressing me against the rail, entering me with a groan that drowned the storm. We moved fierce, slick and raw, his thrusts claiming, my cries lost to thunder. After, spent and shivering, he whispered, "Marry this mess with me?" Laughter bubbled through tears. Idiot. Yes. But vows need more than words. The next week, betrayal struck sharp. A leaked email chain, Marcus to label execs. Thorn's the weak link. Pay him off, or expose the dirt. Dirt? My past with Brody, twisted into scandal fodder. I confronted Jax, printout trembling. Your team, they dug into me. His horror mirrored mine. Elias, I didn't. I know, but trust frayed, threads pulling. How deep does this go? Deep enough. That afternoon, alone while he met lawyers, a knock. Unmarked envelopes slid under. Inside photos. Us intimate bedroom window shots, timestamps recent. Blackmail note. Walk away, or these go viral. M. Nausea roiled. Marcus striking at the heart. I burned them in the sink, flames licking, but the violation lingered, skin crawling. Jax returned, face ashen, his own discovery. He hacked my cloud. Everything. Rage unified us. We went public on his terms. A joint statement, raw and unfiltered. Jax Harlan and Elias Thorn. Partners in life, not headlines. Privacy demanded. Legal action incoming. Posted to his verified account. It exploded, supporters rallying, hashtags trending. Leave Jax alone. The backlash hit title. Diehards decrying sellout romance. Forums dissecting my motives. But allies emerged. Fans sharing stories of lost loves to fame. Artists amplifying our voice. Strength in the storm. Yet climax brewed. Marcus called, unblocked for the trap. Cute stunt. But the tour footage? You walking offstage mid-show? Leaked tomorrow unless Thorn signs the NDA. Silence forever. Jax's grip whitened on the phone. No deal. See you in court. The leak dropped at midnight. Grainy video, Jax mid-ballad. Mic dropped, storming off to booze. Accompanied by my influence. Fabricated quotes from insiders. Hell unleashed. Protests outside the label, but arrows turned inward. Threats to me, slashed tires on the Jeep. Jax barricaded, but I saw the fracture. His music, his soul, weaponized. One night, breakdown. Him curled on the floor, guitar smashed. I poisoned you, this world's rot. I knelt, cradling. We detoxed together. Love's forge, we rebuilt, piece by shard. He wrote, a ballad of betrayal's bite. My sketches, its visual echo. Released independently, it charted quiet, true. But Marcus's endgame loomed. A reunion gala? Bait to expose. Jax decided. Confront. With you. Or not at all. I laced fingers. Together. The gala glittered. LA transplant vibe in Seattle's Paramount Theater. chandeliers dripping opulence. We entered arm in arm, heads high, my tux rumpled beside his tailored grace. Whispers rippled, flashes blinded. Marcus cornered us backstage, smirk oily, bold. But the video, stolen property, Jax's voice ice, cops have it, along with your hacks. Bluff, no lawyers had moved. Marcus blanched, empire cracking. As he slunk away, Jax pulled me into wings, kiss triumphant. We won. Not yet. The crowd roared for his set, unplanned encore. He glanced. Go? I nodded. Your stage. But come back. He shone. Voice soaring, lyrics ours, vulnerable, fierce. Offstage, sweat slick, he collapsed into me. Home. But victory's aftertaste, hollow. Fans cheered the myth, we craved the man. The gala's echo faded into Seattle's relentless gray, but the scars it left pulsed like fresh ink, bold, irreversible. Jax's impromptu set had gone viral, not for the drama but the depth. A stripped-down Horizon anchor, his voice cracking on the bridge about trading applause for quiet truths. Comments flooded. This is real Jax. Who's the muse? Protect them. We read them curled on the couch, his head in my lap, my fingers threading his hair. But beneath the glow, unease simmered. Marcus was cornered, yes, restraining orders filed, accounts frozen. But men like him didn't slink quietly. They lashed. Mornings brought normalcy's fragile return. Coffee shared over the sink, his lips brushing my temple as I sketched. My freelance bloomed, commissions for queer zines, portraits of everyday heroes that felt like rebellion. Jax tinkered in the studio nook we'd carved, demos layering soft, soulful tracks that hinted at a solo pivot. No labels, just authenticity. Our sound, he'd say, pulling me into harmonies, his tenor weaving with my untrained baritone, laughter dissolving discord. Yet nights unearthed ghosts. I'd wake to him thrashing, murmurs of not enough, never enough, sweat-damp sheets twisted, post-gala nightmares, crowds morphing to claws, Marcus's face leering from shadows. I'd soothe, body molding to his, slow rocks turning heated. His hands gripping my hips, guiding me down onto him, gasps mingling as we chased oblivion in each other's heat. Stay. He'd plead after, buried deep, and I'd vow it, even as doubt whispered. How long before the beast calls him back? Winter deepened, holidays looming like uninvited relatives. We opted for escape. A road trip to the Olympic Peninsula, jeep loaded with thermoses and maps. Rain-slicked highways wound through Ho Forest, moss-draped giants whispering secrets. We hiked to Sol Duc hot springs, steam rising like prayers, stripping bare in the mineral haze. His body gleamed, scars mapping battles, faint from stage falls, deeper from heartbreaks. I traced them with tongue and teeth, kneeling in the water, taking him in slow, worshipful, his fingers fisting my hair as he unraveled, salt and heat on my lips. Soaked and sated, we floated, limbs entwined. Remember Maine? He asked, voice lazy. Your ice ponds. Teach me. I chuckled. Frozen toes and bad falls. But yeah, freedom. His eyes darkened. That's us. Freezing the noise. Back at the cabin, fire roaring, we cooked clams over coals, wine loosening tongues. He confessed the gala's underbelly. A producer's offer post said, come back, kid. Ditch the baggage. Baggage. Me. Rage flickered, but I banked it. And told him to fuck off. With love. His grin faded. But it lingers. The pull. I set my fork down. Does it want you more than I do? Silence stretched, heavy. No. But it shaped me. Can't erase. We made love by firelight, tender at first. Kisses like kindling. Then fierce, him pinning me to the rug, thrusts deep and claiming. My legs wrapped tight as cries peaked. After tears on his lashes. Scared I'll break us. Won't. Lie? Truth? The line blurred. New Year's dawned crisp, resolutions scrawled on napkins. His Right without chains. Mine. Love without walls. We toasted in bed, bodies slick, ringing in the year with slow, grinding union, his mouth on my neck, hands everywhere. Release a shared supernova. Return brought collision. My agent buzzed. A gallery show in Portland. My sketches, intimate, emotional, curated for a queer art crawl. It's blowing up, Elias. Harlan effect. Pride swelled, but Jax's face shadowed. Spotlight adjacent. You okay? I nodded, but the irony bit, his world encroaching mine. The opening night hummed, loft space aglow, walls lined with my work. Ethereal faces, lovers in fog, one unmistakably him. Gray eyes piercing, titled Unmasked. Guests milled, champagne fizzing. Jax hovered peripheral, cap low, but recognition sparked. Whispers. That's him. The muse. A critic cornered me, glass in hand. Raw stuff, inspired by the superstar's turmoil. Heat rose, inspired by life. Messy, human. She smirked. Romanticizes the grind. Careful, it devours. Her words echoed as Jax pulled me aside. Kiss urgent in the storeroom. Shelves rattling, his hands down my slacks, stroking firm until I spilled, biting his shoulder to muffle. Mine, he growled. But possessiveness tasted off. Fame's echo? Worse waited home. Package, unmarked. Inside a USB click and horror unfolded. Video. Us, peninsula cabin, window-framed intimacy. Me arched, him thrusting, moans captured clear. Timestamp. Our escape. Marcus. Final strike. Timed for maximum shatter. I retched, Jax bursting in, face crumpling as he viewed. How? Tracked us. God. Violation clawed deeper than flesh. Our sanctuary, commodified. He raged, smashing the drive, but tears came. I brought this. My curse. No. I held him, but fracture lines spidered. We end it. Lawyers mobilized. FBI tipped. Traces to Marcus's IP. Arrest whispered, but damage seeped. Leaks trickled online. Blurred but identifiable. Forums erupted. Harlan's sex tape. Hot or hoax? Hate spewed. Slurs. Doxing threats to my family in Maine. Isolation gripped. We holed up. Blinds sealed. But paranoia festered. Every buzz a blade. Jax withdrew. Music silenced. I sketched compulsively. Lines jagged as nerves. One blizzard night, power out. Candles guttering, he broke. Leave me, Elias. Save yourself. Kneeling before him, I cupped his face. Never. We're the storm now. Desperation fueled us. Bodies crashing, clothes torn. Him taking me against the wall. Hard, punishing, then softening to please. Don't let go. Climax wept release, but morning brought resolve. Public again, fiercer. We posted the story, unflinching, violation, fight, unity. Love isn't porn. Is privacy stolen? Join us in demanding justice. Allies surged. Celebrities decrying deepfakes. Fans crowdfunding legal aid. Marcus indicted. Hacking, extortion. Vindication bittersweet. But trust? Rebuilt brick by aching brick. Spring thawed and with it, growth. Jax's album dropped indie. Quiet fires. Tracks birthed in our forge. Charting on heart, not hype. My show toured. Pieces selling to souls who saw mirrors. Yet climax crested subtle. A call from Brody. Saw the news. Proud? Or pity? Click. Closure. Unneeded. In our shared space, walls repainted sage, his guitar beside my easel, we thrived. Love, humanistic, flawed, freeing. But endings hint at more. One dawn, Jax proposed properly, ring simple, beach sand gritting knees. Elias Thorne, anchor me? Tears. Yes. Wedding whispers began, but shadows? Ever lurking. Freedom's price, vigilance. Summer sun gilded Seattle's edges, turning the sound to molten gold, but our wedding plans unfolded in the quiet hours, away from prying eyes. No Vegas excess or tabloid splash. We dreamed simple. A coastal ceremony in the San Juans, fairies as guests, vows exchanged under madrona trees with their peeling red bark like shed inhibitions. Jax's ring, hammered silver, etched with a compass rose, hung on a chain around my neck, a talisman against the world's grind. Till the stars burn out, he'd murmur, tracing it during lazy afternoons, his touch igniting paths down my spine, leading to slow, sun-dappled unions on the fire escape, me riding him languid, gasps swallowed by the city hum. Life layered fuller. My studio space in a Fremont warehouse, commissions flowing from queer nonprofits, portraits that captured resilience in arched brows and defiant stares. Jax's tour, small venues, acoustic sets, took him weekends away, but returns were rituals. Airport reunions and shadowed lots, his duffel dropped for frantic kisses escalating to backseat heat, windows steamed, his mouth hot on me until stars burst behind lids. Missed this, he'd pant, entering slow, our bodies remembering rhythms like old songs. Marcus's trial loomed, a specter we faced tandem. Court dates in federal court downtown, fluorescent halls echoing with legalese. He sat cuffed, diminished, oily charm cracked, eyes darting like a cornered fox. Testimonies stripped him. Hacked logs, bribe trails, our videos metadata damning. Jax's turn on the stand. Voice steady, recounting the theft of intimacy. It wasn't just files. It was trust. Our foundation. I watched from gallery, heart swelling, pride, love, a fierce protectiveness. Cross-exam. Mr. Harlan, wasn't this publicity gold? Boost your authentic brand. Objection sustained, but the barb stuck. Post-session, in the courthouse bathroom, Jax sagged against sinks. They twist everything. I locked the door, pulling him close. Kisses grounding, hands slipping under his shirt to palm-warm skin. Not us. Not this. We didn't go further. Time's thief. But the promise lingered. A spark for home. Conviction came swift. 5 years. Restitution ordered. As cuffs clicked final, Marcus's glare pinned me. You'll regret. Empty threat, but chill traced. Freedom tasted sweeter post-verdict. We celebrated low-key. Rooftop picnic, city sprawled below, wine and whispers. His new single, Shades of Us, dropped that week, a duet we'd recorded in pajamas. My harmonies tentative but true. It climbed charts organically, fans dissecting lyrics for our story. From betrayal's blade to healing's thread, messages poured. Survivors sharing. You gave voice to my silence. Yet conflict brewed domestic, subtle. Jax's manager, new, ethical, pushed expansion. Podcasts, collabs. Leveraged the narrative. He resisted, but temptation glinted. A festival slot in Austin, headline potential. One-offs only, he promised, but prep meant late nights, guitar riffs echoing till dawn. I buried in work, a mural commission for a pride center. Vibrant arcs of bodies entwined, colors bleeding identity. But isolation crept. Empty bed, cold coffee. One call, his voice crackled from a green room. Babe, crowds electric. Wish you here. Break a leg. But envy twinged, not fame, but the pull, the life that claimed pieces. Return brought makeup sex. Him bursting in, pinning me to the door, clothes shed in frenzy. His tongue tracing my length, sucking deep until I shattered, then flipping me, entering with a groan that vibrated bone. Never leaving you behind, he vowed, thrusts punctuating, our release a seal. Trust rebuilt, but vows test in tempests. Fall winds howled, and crisis hit. My dad's call from Maine, voice frail.
Cancer, son.
Stage 3. Come home. World tilted. Jax canceled gigs, booked flights. We're in this. Bangor Airport reeked of pine and memory. Crisp air, lobster shacks dotting the coast. Dad's cabin in Ellsworth, weathered clapboard overlooking Penobscot Bay, felt smaller, shadows longer. He sat frail in his rocker, flannel loose on bones once sturdy, eyes, hazel like mine, dimmed but kind. Brought the rock star, eh? Jack's charmed effortless. Chopping wood, sharing fishing tales, his hands steady on Dad's shoulder during chemo chats. Nights, we'd walk the rocky shore, waves gnashing, my head on his chest. Scared, I admitted wind-tearing words. Of losing him? Of losing me, this place, its roots. He stopped, cupping my face. You're my root, wherever. Intimacy shifted tender. Cabin loft, moonlight slanting, bodies gentle, fingers interlaced. Him inside slow, rocking like cradle song, whispers of forever mingling with sea roar, healing in fragments. Dad rallied brief, enough for a clambake. Neighbors gathered, fires crackling, stories spun. Jack sang unplugged, voice weaving magic. Dad's nod. Approval, rare. Good man, Elias. Hold tight. But decline accelerated. Hospital vigils. Beeps monotonous, my sketches piling. His face, fierce in youth, softening in peace. Jack's held space, brewing coffee, reading aloud from my books. One dawn, as monitors flatlined, Dad gripped my hand. Love fierce, kid. No regrets. He slipped quiet, bay mist rising like farewell. Grief hollowed, funeral rain swept, cemetery green with autumn decay. Eulogy choked. He taught constancy, in tides, in trials. Jax's arm anchored, tears silent. After cabin emptied, we packed, his duffel heavier with my borrowed flannel. Drive south, silence thick, his hand on my thigh. Motel stop in Portland. Check-in numb, shower shared, water scalding, bodies pressing, his mouth soothing bruises of loss. We made love mournful. Me atop, grinding deep, his gasps my lifeline. Release a sobbed catharsis. Seattle welcomed hollow. Condolences stacked, but emptiness echoed. I withdrew, sketches dark, swirls of void, figures fading. Jax hovered, patient, but strain showed. Cancelled interviews, fans murmuring Harlan's hiatus, lover's curse. Clash ignited one stormy eve. He suggested therapy group for fame survivors. Together, unpack, defensive flared. I'm fine. You're the one who drags drama. Hurt flashed. Dragging? I carried you through this. Words weapons. My always the savior? Spotlight adjacent? His pushing me away like I'm Brody? Door slammed, mine. Hours apart, rain lashing, regret brewed. Midnight knock, him soaked, eyes red. Sorry. Grief's a thief. I pulled him in, apologies dissolving in kisses. Desperate, devouring, clothes pooled. Him bending me over the couch, entering swift, thrusts forgiving, my moans pleading absolution. After, tangled, truth spilled. My fear of anchors lost, his of being burden. We mend, he whispered. Human, remember? Healing's arc. Therapy sessions in a cozy office overlooking the market. Words tumbling. My abandonment echoes from Dad's distance, his from fame's void. Progress, tentative, profound. Winter solstice neared, and with it our wedding rescheduled resilient. Invites handwritten. Close circle, no press. San Juan's ferry chugged. Islands emerald in frost-kissed light. Ceremony under trees. Officiant a old busker friend. Vows raw mine. You saw my shadows, loved the light within. His, I was adrift. You, my north. Rings exchanged, simple bands, engraved, quiet fires. Kiss sealed, cheers soft, reception bonfire lit. Songs strummed, dances swaying. Honeymoon whisper, cabin revisit but ours now. Nights ablaze. Exploring anew, his tongue mapping scars, me claiming him under stars. Slow builds to frenzied peaks. bodies eternal. But humanism's depth, not perfection, but persistence. Back home, life layered, his album gold, my mural unveiled, pride flags waving. Yet betrayal's echo, forgiven, not forgotten. One letter post-trial, Marcus, prison stamped. You won the war, but love's the real cage. We burned it, ashes to wind. Free, as souls allow. Years folded like well-worn pages, Seattle's seasons cycling. Rain to bloom to frost. In a rhythm we'd claimed as ours. The apartment evolved, walls adorned with our joint works. His lyrics scrawled beside my illustrations, a mural of intertwined horizons sprawling the living room. Jax's career pivoted graceful. Boutique tours and folk halls. Albums self-produced, voice deeper, truer. Drawing crowds who sought stories over spectacle. Fans evolved too, letters not demands, but shares. Your quiet saved my loud. My art thrived autonomous. Gallery reps in New York, but roots here, teaching workshops where young queer voices sketched their truths. Marriage's patina, comfortable fire. Mornings, he'd wake me with guitar riffs soft, transitioning to touches bolder. Fingers curling around my morning hardness, stroking lazy until I flipped him, entering with a groan, our Sunday ritual slow and sunlit, release lingering like afterglow haze. Arguments, fleeting over tour dates or deadlines, but resolved in bed, bodies dialoguing what words fumbled. Him on knees, taking me deep, eyes locked in surrender. Or me beneath, legs hooked, his thrusts a plea for peace. Anniversary 3rd. Surprise trip to Colorado, his childhood haunts. Aspen groves golden, cabin remote with creek song. We hiked ridges, breath sinking, his hand in mine a constant. Evenings, firelit confessions. Regrets aired. His early dismissals of my fears, my walls post-dad. Growth's ugly, he said, wine loose, but worth the scars. Love making there was elemental. Against pine bark, urgent and scratched. In the creek, cool water lapping as he held me afloat, moving gentle inside, whispers lost to ripple. Return stirred deeper, talk of family. Kids? He broached over brunch, fork paused. Adoption whispers, surrogacy dreams, legacy beyond blood. Excitement sparked, but shadows intruded. Old contact. Brody, clean now, post-rehab. Heard about you too. Inspiring. Mind if I apologize? Meeting neutral. Coffee shop in Queen and neutral ground. He looked weathered, lines etched. Eyes clear but haunted. I was selfish, Elias. Fucked up. Seeing your life. Deserved. Forgiveness flowed easy. Time's grace. Water under. Glad you're steady. Jax, absent but briefed. Nodded later. Closure's gift. But climax crested unexpected. Jax's health scare. Post-tour fatigue morphed to chest pains. Ear dash. Lights blurring. My hand crushed in his. Tests. Stress cardiomyopathy, broken heart syndrome, irony cruel. Fame's ghost, doc said. Rest. Reassess. Hospital vigil. Monitors beeping softer now, his humor flickering. Dying dramatically? Not my style. Tears choked. Don't joke. I need you. He pulled me close for tugging. Then live it with me. Full. Recovery reshaped. Therapy deepened. Boundaries redrawn. No tours over months. Collabs local. We volunteered LGBTQ Youth Center, his stories mentoring, my art sessions empowering. Witnessing him with kids, patient, open, stirred paternal ache. Spring bloomed hopeful. Adoption approval, match found. A boy? 5, foster shuffled. Eyes wide with wary trust. Theo arrived tentative. Tousled curls, freckles like mine, questions tumbling. This home. Ours we vowed. Nights co-sleeping first weeks. His nightmares soothed by Jax's lullabies. My sketches of us 3, family forged. Joy's depth. Theo's first laugh, belly deep it tickles. Park picnics, Jax pushing swings, my hand in his free. Intimacy adapted. Stolen moments post-bedtime, quiet now. Kisses evolving to slow grinds on the couch, muffled moans, his hand over my mouth as I came, then switching, my fingers preparing him before sliding home, his bitten lip drawing blood sweet. But conflicts whisper. Theo's biomom surfaced. Custody bid hazy with addiction relapse. Court again, familiar dread. Hearings dragged. Social workers' reports, her tearful pleas. I changed. Jax's testimony. Measured, compassionate. We honor that. But stability, he has it here. Mine. Sketches submitted. Theo's progress. Smiles blooming. Judge ruled ours. But the brush with loss carved deeper. Gratitude's edge sharp. Humanism's core. Compassion's bridge. We reached out, rehab resources for her, supervised visits tentative. Everyone deserves rewrite, Jax said, echoing our own. Years spun. Theo 10 now, soccer star with Jax's grin, my artist's eye. School plays, holidays raucous, extended family woven. His Colorado kin, my main aunts. Fame faded to footnote. Jax's book deal, memoir of unmasking. Topped indies, tours bookish, intimate. One eve, porch swing creaking, Theo asleep inside, we reflected. Regrets? I asked, head on his shoulder. None. You? The idol who invaded. Laughter soft. Best breach. Kiss deepened, hands wandering. Upstairs, door locked, reclaiming. Him atop, slow rolls building to frenzy. My name chanted like mantra, release of vow renewed. Life's tapestry. Threads of joy, mend, ache, human, unbound. Freedom, in choices. Loving fierce, identity owned. Compassion the quiet north. In Seattle's eternal drizzle we thrived. Idols no more, just men, anchored true.